Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something they don't teach you in school and your grandma never dared whisper at dinner. Stop being kind to everyone. We've been trained like well-behaved children in stiff school uniforms to say please and thank you, to smile even when it hurts, to nod along when we want to scream. Kindness has been programmed into us like a habit, a twitch, a reflex. Someone bumps into you, apologize. Someone disrespects you, laugh it off. Someone crosses a line, forgive, forget, move on. For the sake of peace, for the sake of manners, for the sake of being a good person. But here's where it gets messy. When kindness becomes automatic, it loses its meaning. It becomes a performance, a mask. You give it away before you've even stopped to ask, does this person deserve it? Do I even want to offer it right now? You turn yourself into a vending machine of smiles and favors, expecting what? Gratitude? Reciprocity? Honey, most won't even notice, and those who do, they'll keep pressing your buttons, expecting that sweet kindness to pour out on command. See, reflex kindness isn't rooted in strength, it's rooted in fear. Fear of conflict, fear of being disliked, fear of being labeled rude or difficult or too much. But there's nothing noble about being kind when your heart's not in it. That's not compassion. That's compliance. True kindness, real, soul deep, warm-blooded kindness, is deliberate. It comes from a place of power, not pressure. It comes from choosing to see someone, choosing to care, choosing to give your energy because you want to, not because you're too afraid to say no. When you take the time to choose kindness instead of reacting with it, suddenly it carries weight. It means something. It reflects who you are, not what the world expects you to be. So stop offering kindness like it's oxygen. You're not required to fill everyone's lungs with your breath. Let kindness be rare. Let it be sacred. Let it be your gift, not your default. There's a quiet kind of tired that doesn't come from long days or heavy lifting. It comes from constantly giving parts of yourself away, piece by piece, smile by smile, favor by favor. It's the exhaustion that settles in your chest when you've spent all day being nice to people who don't see you, who don't care, who only take. And oh, do they take? They take your time, your patience, your energy, like it cost you nothing. But it does cost you something. It costs you sleep. It costs you self-respect. It costs you the deep inner peace that comes from knowing your soul is intact and your boundaries are firm. You don't realize it at first because it starts off small. You help someone who never says thank you. You agree to something you didn't want to do. You stay silent when someone crosses a line. You do it because it feels like the right thing, the polite thing, the kind thing. And then one day you wake up and you feel hollow, worn thin, like you've been running on a kindness engine that's long out of fuel. But the world doesn't pause to ask if you're okay. It just keeps knocking. People keep expecting. And worse, they start demanding. Because the more you give without limit, the more people assume you don't have any. You become the go-to, the yes man, the emotional sponge for everyone else's mess. It's a brutal irony. The more kindness you offer, the less value it seems to carry. You'd think the world would appreciate a gentle heart, but no. The world tests it. It pokes and prods, seeing how far it can stretch you before you snap. And by the time you realize you're being used, it's already too late. The takers have moved on to their next source of kindness, and you left in pieces, wondering what you did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You just gave too much to people who never deserved it. You tried to pour from a cup that was already bone dry. You thought being kind to everyone made you good, but all it made you was tired. Tired in your bones, tired in your spirit, tired in that deep aching way that a nap can't fix. And that's the trap. That's the cost of kindness without caution. It doesn't just leave you empty. It teaches others that your emptiness is normal, that your burnout is expected. And once you're drained, they don't rush to refill you. They just look for someone else to take your place. You'd think growing up that being nice would be enough. That if you treated people with warmth, with generosity, with that unwavering willingness to help, you'd be met with the same. A return on emotional investment, a balance, a fair trade. But that's not how the real world turns. That's not how people operate when the mask slips off and the smiles fade. Because niceness, when it has no boundaries, no spine, no edge, isn't seen as virtue, it's seen as weakness. Not because kindness is weak, but because constant, unquestioning niceness makes you predictable. And predictable people are easy to manipulate. You say yes because you're afraid of conflict. You give because saying no makes your stomach twist. You stay quiet when your voice should roar. All in the name of peace, of harmony, of being the bigger person. But here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. This world runs on power, not politeness. And endless niceness, it gives away your power one quiet concession at a time. It tells people you're safe to ignore, safe to burden, safe to use. Not because they hate you, not even because they're bad people, but because they can, because you let them. And when you finally get tired, when your kindness grows thin and you start to speak up, they look at you like you've changed, like you're the problem. You've gotten cold, they say. You used to be so nice. What they really mean is, you used to let me get away with it. You see, the world doesn't hand out trophies for being endlessly kind. It hands out expectations. The more you give, the more is demanded. The more patient you are, the more you're tested. And when you break, when you finally set a limit, the applause never comes. The gratitude never arrives. So ask yourself, what's the reward for always being the one who bends, who softens, who gives the benefit of the doubt? Is it respect? No. It's often invisibility. You become the wallpaper in everyone else's story. Pleasant, unobtrusive, forgettable. Endless niceness doesn't lift you up. It makes you small. It teaches the world to expect your silence, not hear your voice. It's a performance they get used to, a background hum they stop appreciating the moment it stops being convenient. And the worst part? The more you feed people kindness without discernment, the more they grow to believe they're entitled to it. That it's not a gift, it's a given. So they stop being careful with you. They stop treating you like a person and start treating you like a service, a resource, a safety net. The world, ruthless as it is, knows how to sniff out the nice ones. And not to uplift them, no, to bleed them dry. Somewhere along the way we got it twisted. We started treating kindness like a social default, a baseline requirement, something you're supposed to offer everyone without hesitation, like a free refill or a polite handshake. But real kindness isn't cheap. It's not some universal courtesy like holding the door open or saying bless you after a sneeze. No, real kindness is personal, intentional, sacred. And sacred things aren't handed out to just anyone. You don't get someone's kindness just because you exist. You don't automatically deserve someone's time, energy, or softness simply because you haven't wronged them. And yet, look around. So many people walk through the world like kindness is owed to them, like decency should be delivered on a silver platter just for showing up. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Not everyone qualifies, not everyone earns it, and not everyone is safe enough to receive it. See, when you offer kindness without discretion, you blur the lines. You give people a path they never worked for. You allow their behavior to go unchecked simply because you were taught to always be nice. And before you know it, your kindness becomes currency in someone else's manipulation. They take your warmth as weakness, your patience as permission, your empathy as access. You don't hand over the keys to your house to strangers, do you? You don't give away your trust without someone proving they're worthy of it. So why do we treat kindness any differently? Why do we act like it's less valuable, less sacred, less deserving of boundaries? The truth is, kindness means more when it's earned, when it's given after someone shows you who they are, really shows you. When it comes as a response to character, not just presence. When it's offered not because you're supposed to, but because someone's actions merit it. That's when kindness is real. That's when it carries weight. That's when it changes things. You see, the beauty of earned kindness is that it builds trust, not expectations. It fosters mutual respect instead of one-sided loyalty. And it keeps you from wasting your tenderness on people who only see it as leverage, who file it under something I can use later. Because let's be honest, some folks aren't looking for connection. They're looking for convenience. And your kindness, that's just one more tool in their box. So let go of the idea that you owe kindness to everyone. Let go of the pressure to be perpetually generous, eternally pleasant, constantly available. Make people earn your kindness. Make them show you they know what to do with it. And until they do, hold it close. Keep it sacred. Because once you start treating your kindness like it's something that matters, everyone else will too. There's this deep-rooted myth, especially for those of us raised to be agreeable, to keep the peace, to be the good one, that being liked is everything. That if people like you, you're safe. That if you're agreeable enough, quiet enough, pleasing enough, you'll avoid conflict, rejection, or pain. But that's a dangerous illusion. Because chasing approval is a trap. And in the process, you end up sacrificing the one thing that should never be compromised. Your boundaries. Let's be clear. Being liked is not the same as being respected. You can be liked by everyone in the room and still be completely disregarded. You can be the favorite, the nice one, and still be the one they expect to clean up the mess. Stay late, say yes, swallow your truth just to keep others comfortable. Because when your priority is being liked, you start making decisions based on what other people want, not on what you need. And that's where the rot sets in. People-pleasing is a slow erosion of self. It's death by 1,000 polite smiles. You laugh when things aren't funny. You agree when your gut screams no. You stay when your soul is halfway out the door. And why? Because you're scared that if you set a line, if you say this is too much, or I won't tolerate this, someone might not like you anymore, that they'll think you're cold, or selfish, or not nice. But what's worse? Being disliked by someone who only loved you for your compliance, or living a life where your needs are buried under everyone else's. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are fences to protect what matters. They are declarations that say, I know what I will accept, and I know what I will not. They are the language of self-respect. And those who truly care for you will not be threatened by your limits. They'll recognize them as strength, not resistance. Because if someone only values you when you're bendable, you were never valued at all. Being liked is fickle. It changes with moods, misunderstandings, convenience. But boundaries, they're steady. They protect your peace when others test it. They keep you grounded when you're tempted to give more than you have. They remind you that your life is your own, not a stage for others' approval. So no, being liked is not the goal. It's a nice bonus, sure, but it should never come at the expense of your dignity. Let them call you difficult. Let them call you distant. Let them misunderstand you if they must. Because at the end of the day, it's far better to be respected for having limits than adored for having none. We've all been there, pouring our energy into people who seem to need it, who demand it, who ask for it with open arms. We think we're doing the right thing, giving what's in our hearts to those who seem to lack it. But here's the tough truth that you can only learn through experience. Not everyone deserves to be the recipient of your emotional investment. It sounds harsh, doesn't it? We're taught from a young age that it's right to be generous with our feelings, to share our vulnerabilities, to open up to anyone who asks. We're told that love and friendship are supposed to be limitless, that we should always give people the benefit of the doubt, that the more we give, the better we'll be. But this belief can leave us emotionally bankrupt. It can leave us bruised, drained, and worse still, resentful of the very people we try to help. Because some people simply don't know how to handle what you give them. You can't give your heart to someone who doesn't value it. You can't pour your energy into people who only show up when they need something and disappear when you do. And yet we do it. We keep showing up, we keep giving our time, our care, our support, even when they take it for granted. Why? Because we've been taught to always be kind, to be the bigger person, to put others first, even when they don't have the decency to do the same for us. The problem is we start to lose ourselves in the process. We stop asking, does this person deserve my emotional investment? Instead, we assume that because they're in our lives, because they've shown up in some way, they should automatically be worthy of what we offer. We stop valuing our own emotions and start thinking that everyone else's come first. But in doing so, we forget something crucial. Your emotional energy is not infinite. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't offer love, compassion, and support to people who don't reciprocate, or worse, who drain you dry without ever considering what you need in return. This isn't about being selfish, it's about survival. Emotional energy is a currency, and not everyone knows how to spend it wisely. Some will take it all and leave you with nothing, while others will use it to manipulate, control, or exploit your goodwill. When you continuously invest in people who don't deserve it, you begin to question your own worth. You start to wonder why you even bother, why you keep offering yourself to people who couldn't care less about you in return. It's okay to set limits. It's okay to say, no, I'm not going to invest in you emotionally if you don't respect me, if you don't give something back. You don't have to be a walking doormat to prove you're kind. Real kindness doesn't come from endless sacrifice. It comes from recognizing who is truly deserving of your time, your effort, and your love. It comes from knowing that your emotional well-being matters just as much as anyone else's. The sooner you realize that not everyone deserves your emotional investment, the sooner you can protect your energy for those who do. The ones who will treat your heart like it's sacred, not a tool to be used or a resource to be drained. Those are the people who will stay with you when things are tough. They're the ones who will carry some of your burden, not add to it. They're the ones who will give back as much as they take, who will be there when you need them, not just when it's convenient. So stop giving yourself away to people who don't respect you. Stop investing in relationships that leave you empty. Start valuing your emotional energy like the treasure it is, and only share it with those who truly deserve it. We're told time and time again that kindness is a virtue, that we should give of ourselves to others, show compassion, and put the needs of others before our own. It's noble, it's expected, it's the way things are supposed to be, right? But here's the unspoken truth. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot pour into others when your own well is dry. And you certainly can't offer kindness to the world if you haven't learned how to extend it to yourself first. Self-kindness is not the same as self-indulgence, nor is it the same as selfishness. It is the deep understanding that you are worthy of the same care, compassion, and respect that you so freely offer others. Too often, we treat ourselves like the last person on our priority list. We ignore our own needs in favor of taking care of everyone else. We let our bodies and minds be pushed to the brink because we believe that kindness is about always being there for others, no matter the cost to ourselves. But what happens when you're constantly giving your energy, your time, your attention, and your love to people who don't give it back? What happens when you sacrifice your well-being to make others happy, only to find that no one is there when you need them in return? Self-kindness means recognizing that you, too, deserve to be treated with the same patience and compassion that you show to others. It means understanding that your needs are just as valid as anyone else's. It's taking the time to check in with yourself, to acknowledge when you're tired, when you're burnt out, when you need rest or space, or simply time to reconnect with your own soul. It's about learning to say no when you need to, without feeling guilty. It's about setting boundaries that protect your peace, even if others don't understand or appreciate them. True kindness begins with honoring your own limits, listening to your own heart, and giving yourself the grace that you so freely give to others. You see, the more you give to others without giving to yourself, the more you deplete your own sense of worth. You teach yourself that your needs are secondary, that your happiness can be postponed indefinitely in the name of helping others. You might even start to feel that your only value lies in your ability to please or serve others. But that's a dangerous place to be. Because when you make yourself invisible in the name of kindness, you lose the essence of who you are. You stop prioritizing your own growth, your own peace, and your own joy. You begin to seek validation from others instead of building your own sense of self-worth. Self-kindness is not about being perfect or getting everything right. It's about showing up for yourself, just as you would for a loved one. It's about offering yourself patience when you're struggling, compassion when you're feeling low, and strength when you're facing challenges. It's the quiet act of saying, I am worthy of love, of rest, of care, and making sure you give those things to yourself, even when the world around you is demanding more. When you start practicing true kindness toward yourself, you shift your entire perspective. You stop looking for external validation and start finding peace within. You begin to recognize that your worth is not defined by how much you give to others, but by the simple fact that you are enough, just as you are. You are worthy of love, of respect, and of care, regardless of whether you are constantly giving to others or not. Once you learn to love yourself, to cherish your own needs, your own well-being, your own spirit, only then can you offer the world the full extent of your kindness. Because when you're rooted in self-kindness, when your own well is full, you give from a place of strength, not exhaustion. You give with joy, not obligation. You give because you want to, not because you feel like you have to. And that's the kind of kindness that matters. The kind that comes from a place of abundance, not depletion. In the end, kindness should never be a commodity to be handed out indiscriminately, nor a currency that leaves you bankrupt. True kindness comes from strength, not weakness. It comes from the decision to protect yourself, to recognize that your energy, your emotions, and your time are valuable. When you honor yourself first, when you set the boundaries that keep you whole, then you can give to others from a place of abundance, not scarcity. So stop being kind to everyone. Start being kind to the ones who deserve it, including yourself. Don't dilute your worth for the sake of approval. Don't exhaust yourself for the sake of others. Instead, Cultivate kindness from the inside out. Nurture it within your own heart, where it grows strong, purposeful, and resilient. Only then will it truly make a difference in the world.